in the humming aisles of a neighborhood supermarket, where carts squeaked over polished floors and shelves overflowed with food. A quiet story was unfolding, one that most people around never noticed. A young woman stood frozen before the row of baby formula. Her sweater, stretched thin with wear, barely hid how fragile her frame had become. Her eyes carried the weight of sleepless nights, dark circles carved into her pale skin. In her arms, she clutched a newborn wrapped in a faded blanket, the kind that had seen too many washes. At her side, a little girl tugged gently at her sleeve, whispering, "Mommy, can we go home soon?" The woman, her name was Clara, lifted a can of formula from the shelf. Her hand trembled as she turned it in her grip, studying the label as if it might hold an answer. For one brief second, a flicker of hope lit her tired face. But when her gaze fell to the crumpled bills inside her wallet, that hope vanished. With a sigh that seemed to pull the air out of her body, Clara placed the can back on the shelf. The gesture was small, but it carried the weight of a storm, unseen until that moment. A man in a sharp navy suit had stopped a few steps away. His name was Daniel Hale. To strangers, he was a picture of success, a millionaire. The kind of man who spent years building an empire brick by brick, climbing higher with every deal and investment. Yet as he watched Clara lower her eyes and turn away, something inside him stirred. None of his wealth, none of his power, seemed to matter compared to the sight of a mother surrendering to the cruel truth that she couldn't afford milk for her child. Clara gathered her little girl's hand and moved on, her shoulders heavy, as if each step carried stones. The baby whimpered softly, pressing closer to her chest. As she whispered soothing words that only a mother could give, Daniel remained still for a moment, caught in the silence of his own thoughts. Then, almost instinctively, he followed at a distance. Clara's basket held only the barest essentials: discounted bread, a few bruised vegetables, and a pack of diapers she debated over for far too long before finally setting inside. Each decision seemed weighed like gold, as if every dollar could decide whether she would make it through the week. She carried herself with dignity, not letting the world see the desperation pressing down on her. And yet Daniel could see it in every moved eye at the checkout line. Clara's anxiety became almost visible. She counted her bills twice, then glanced up at the cashier with an apologetic half-smile, as if bracing for embarrassment. The baby shifted restlessly, letting out a small cry. Clara hushed him with gentle whispers, rocking him with the kind of patience only love can create. Her daughter, wide-eyed and quiet, clutched her sweater and watched the groceries slide down the conveyor belt. Daniel noticed how Clara's eyes flickered, just for a second, back toward the baby formula aisle, a longing look quickly buried under resignation. He pretended to browse the rack of candy bars by the counter, but his mind raced. He had built his fortune with sharp decisions and relentless ambition, yet in this moment, none of those victories echoed in his chest the way Clara's silent struggle did. When Clara left the store, Daniel made his choice. The sunlight outside painted the parking lot in long golden shadows. Clara balanced her crying infant in one arm, while guiding her daughter with the other. Her car was an old, beaten sedan that looked like it had survived too many winters. She loaded her meager groceries carefully, almost reverently, as if afraid that even the cheapest items could be broken. Her daughter climbed into the back seat without a word. Daniel approached slowly, steady but cautious, not wanting to alarm her. His voice was soft when he spoke, telling her that he had seen her in the store and wanted to help. Clara froze, her instincts rising like a wall. Life had taught her to be cautious, especially with strangers who offered kindness. Shaking her head, she whispered that she couldn't accept charity. Her pride, thin as it was, fought against her desperation. But Daniel's eyes held no pity, only compassion. His words carried no judgment, just honesty. He explained that he had bought something for her, and before she could protest again, he handed her a bag containing the formula she had left behind, along with extra groceries. Clara's lips trembled. Tears filled her eyes, though she tried to blink them away. Slowly, her defenses gave way, and she accepted the bag with shaking hands. For the first time in weeks, she felt a weight lift off her chest. Daniel didn't stop there. He slipped a card into her hand with his contact information, telling her it wasn't charity, it was a way of giving back. Clara didn't answer right away. Her life had taught her not to trust easily, but something in his voice, in the steadiness of his presence, felt different. Over the following weeks, Daniel proved his sincerity. He arranged for child care support, connected her with a better job at one of his companies, and even helped her move into safer housing. The transformation wasn't immediate, but piece by piece, Clara began to rebuild. She no longer lay awake at night wondering if she'd have enough food for her children. She began to dream again, dreams of a life where her daughter could laugh freely and her baby could grow strong. But as Clara changed, so did Daniel. For years, he had measured success in numbers and profits, in contracts, in accolades. Yet through Clara and her children, he discovered something deeper, the wealth of giving. He visited often, not as a benefactor, but as a friend. He played with her daughter, who quickly grew fond of him, and he marveled at Clara's quiet resilience. One evening, as the sun sank low and painted the sky in shades of amber and rose, Daniel stood on the porch of Clara's modest new home. He watched her rocking her baby, her daughter's laughter ringing in the yard, and he realized something profound. The greatest wealth he had ever gained was not measured in money, but in the simple truth that kindness, one act, one moment could change the course of a life forever. And sometimes, when life brings the strangers together in the most ordinary of places, it is not chance at all. It is a reminder that in a world full of noise and rushing footsteps, compassion still has the power to stop us, to soften us, and to make us human again.